a little good band-aid just to make it feel a little better. So stay tuned for the series, and I'm gonna go wash my hands. Everyone, seriously, this is the next day and I let it dry overnight on this heater, whatever, and I'm telling you, this feels like a pile of hay. Like, it definitely got a little, stiffer from just, dry, but still, like, it's breaking off. And I did put a little bit of conditioner. Like, some areas are just, look at this looks so gnarly. And as I move it, like, I don't know if you can tell, but like even here, like, look at the amount of breakage in this towel. That's just crazy. But that's what we're here for, and we're gonna keep damaging it. So let me tell you, the next thing that is known to damage hair the most is sun exposure. Yes, UV radiation and visible light are one of the main things that literally deteriorate the keratin on your hair. So because we're trying to really get this really bad, then here we are. Just sunbathing. After a good sunbathing session, which was about like an hour, but not even close to the time you will spend under the sun when you go to the beach or outdoors. So yeah, that will do. So now we have this hair right, no, that's hair. This hair right here. And the next thing that is the most damaging to hair, it's heat. So I want to make sure that we have here a 450, no heat protection, just we're going raw dog, okay? So we're gonna flat iron like 5 to 10 passes each section of the hair, and make sure that we accumulate as much damage as possible. And I'll show you guys the result. So let's go together, holding hands, to flat iron this. Feels so straw-like, it's wild. I mean, the amount of hair that just breaks off, it's like crazy. Yeah, if this ever happened to you, let me tell you, whoa, I don't know what this is, probably some conditioner that didn't rinse out properly. It's even better, more damage. I do have to say, even though like this is horrible, I've seen people on the streets walking out with hair like this. Like, I've seen it, like, it's not that unusual. 450, of course, to make sure that we're gonna, destroy the hair fiber.
See that? What's this called? What? It's called file.
Because what heat does, it explodes the little keratin inside the hair, just like little popcorn, and that causes a lot of breakage and damage over on the hair structure, a lot of chipping on the cuticle, if this hair even has any cuticle at this point. So I guess we just have to go for it. And no heat protection as well. It's important to remind you that there's no heat protection. I mean, to be honest with you, taking consideration everything that this hair been enduring, this is not the worst thing. I mean, damaged hair can look like this, y'all. Like, this is crazy.
That's suspicious.
This is damaged hair. See, don't get it twisted. Some stylists, they will flat iron their work and it's gonna look amazing like this, but let me tell you, once you wash, the ends are just, coming out like that. So it's very deceiving. You know that Barbie that you had when you were a kid? Not me, because I didn't have a Barbie because my parents said no. It's not a boy's thing. It's okay, therapy. But you know that old Barbie that after you play with her enough, the hair just becomes this like brittle pad that it just feels like bulbul. Like, there's literally no other way to describe it. Yeah. So this is what this feels like, but the difference is that this is not nylon. So yeah, I mean, not horrible. Like, this is what flat iron just is so deceiving. But like, look at the breakage. So when you actually use a heat protection on your hair, you're actually creating a film that will help to curb a little bit of that heat that the hair has been exposed to. Usually silicones will get the job done when it comes to heat protection. Different silicones with different lengths, different properties, they will curb. Just for reference, like a silicone baking sheet, that can withstand so much heat, and it's different from plastic, So imagine protein, it's like plastic, and silicones are like silicones. Like heat protection. So the protein, which is what your hair is made of, will literally melt like a plastic once you start heating it up like that. But if you have a layer of silicone laying on top of it, it will help curb. It doesn't do like all the work, but it does help reduce. And you just need to make sure that it's evenly distributed. And that's why I tend to like spray heat protectants, because for damp hair, because I feel like it's easy for you to kind of like part the hair into like little sections and spray. That mist kind of falls all over it, and then you get to distribute evenly. And then after you blow dry the hair, I like to use a dry spray, so you're like double protection. So yeah, guys, this feels so wrong. This just feels so wrong in so many ways. It feels criminal. So shockingly, all the hair that pretty much had to break off kind of broke already. As you can see, there's like a lot of hair on the floor. But we're back, and this is how heat styling your hair can be visually deceiving. To be honest with you, this low key, I mean, the ends look horrible and fried, but like this has shine to it, has a little bit of a bounce to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so deceiving. What? And that's when I share on social media my signature look, which is liquid hair by Lucas. You guys never flat iron the hair. I just smooth brush it and just make sure the hair is nice and aligned, but I just never because it's deceiving. This hair is literally rotten, but one could say that she doesn't look as bad. So I even gave her a little bump. You know what I'm saying? You have to be careful, y'all. Once you get your hair bleached, make sure your style is power dry and you check the results, and then you can style on top of it, because this is wild. This is actually crazy. The amount of hair that just broke off.
Emotional, damn it!
I mean, look at this. This is crazy. Look, it looks like sawdust. Okay, so what is the takeaway from this video? Here's the same exact bundles of hair that I bought, color-wise, separately. They do lost a lot of length. As you can see, this hair is not really breaking or falling apart. It feels really nice and soft. You can tell this is somehow healthy, or at least it's been treated to look like so. And this hair that I literally destroyed, it's giving trolls. It looks like Iyaki hair. Like, it's so rough and dead, and it does break off pretty easily. So now you know that the 3 things that are most detrimental, more damaging for your hair is, first, chemically treat your hair, and especially over process it, and using low quality ingredients, not knowing your chemistry, not knowing how to properly color, not having a good colorist, all those little things, they do play a really huge effect. If you just decide that you're just gonna bleach it and like there's no tomorrow, it's very risky. It's important to use bond builders, to know the pH, to know how the hair is going to behave, to understand what overlapping is, all of those things. So the second thing is sun exposure. So there is some studies that shows that visible light actually deteriorates some of the keratin. So in summary, that process is pretty much the deterioration of the keratin and the melanin falling and washing out of the hair. So to avoid that, we have to choose leave-in ingredients, styling products that will have some sort of UV protection. It's kind of hard to find, not gonna lie, and some of them don't feel the greatest in the hair, especially hair that has been bleached, but it's super important. Another thing that you can do is to create a physical barrier. So cover your hair, wear a hat, wear a bandana, wear a turban, just wrap that thing up. Don't get exposed directly to the sun. Do a little braid, do a little bun, and then put a little hat on top, things like that. Adding a physical barrier, it's actually the most efficient way for you to protect from UV exposure and visible light. So the third thing is heat damage. Heat damage, when you look in the microscope, the inside of the hair that suffers heat damage, it looks like a Swiss cheese. It's gross. If you're gonna bake your cookies at 390, do you think you should be putting 450 Fahrenheit on your hair? I don't think so.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
So when it comes to blow drying, there's a lot of data that shows if you blow dry from a certain distance with a certain temperature, moving the flow of hair around, you're practically safe. But we both know that when you're blow drying with a round brush or a flat brush, there is a lot of contact. The blow dryer is pretty close to the hair. So the whole point is there are some techniques that can help you improve and kind of curb that damage. Also, if you're power drying your hair, you just have to keep some distance and make sure that you're moving that flow of air all around. Another thing is heat protection. Super important. It's never too much. You know, try different products, work for different types of hair, different textures. Make sure that you do something once you get out of the shower, a leave-in product. I like sprays because they spread evenly. You can section the hair and then you can distribute them a little more evenly. Not a huge fan of creams. I also love a dry spray heat protectant that you can apply directly on dry hair. I do like to use sometimes protective serum or oil or finishing oil that has silicone in it because, you know, especially on the ends where the hair is a little more sensitive, and then before I even curl or do any heat styling. To be honest, you should just keep your heat super low, 280 to 300 Fahrenheit, and heat styling should be an add-on to the styles that you were not able to achieve with a blow dryer. Personally, for my clients that, you know, have dark resistant hair and we lighten their hair to be, you know, any light shade or any blonde of any sort, I highly recommend them to do not use any heat tools at all whatsoever. It's not worth it, even with heat protection. And they actually get used to just using the blow dryer for styling, which, you know, it's a little more work, but once you get the hang of it, it's really not that big of a deal. There's so many new technologies and tools that you can use that have air technology instead of having like heated surfaces to shape the hair. So yeah, just try and see what works best for you. So you might be wondering, what am I gonna do with all this hair that I literally just chemically fry and heat fry and expose to the sun and all of that? I am thinking of doing a project. I selected all of the most revealed conditioners and hair treatments, and now that we have a lot of damaged hair, I want to cut this in individual pieces, and then I want to see how those products actually perform in those strands of super highly damaged hair. So if you're a product junkie like me and you're down for the ride, make sure to stay tuned, and I'll be posting either here or on my Instagram some reviews of products and how they behave on hair that has been absolutely trashed. Because if any of those products are actually good for hair like this, then if your hair is not as bad, you're better off. Before I go, I just want to clarify that there is no recovering from this. This is damage beyond repair. Now we just have to think about how we do for collateral, right? So how we do band-aids. It's pretty much about taking care of this never-ending wound. So there's no way for you to rebuild or reconnect and since I'm finishing up my studies on cosmetic chemistry in school, I should be done by December. We're in September now. So I really want to start diving more into ingredients and what the data tells us about ingredients and how reliable is the data. So the way I'm going to be reviewing the best reviewed products for damaged hair, it's with a very ingredient oriented analytical perspective. So if you're into that type of stuff, just tag along and let's have some fun. Okay, thank you so much for being part of this experiment, and I hope you do not do any of those things that I did to your hair or to anyone's hair, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay moisturized and lubricated and coated. Coating really helps with hair. Siliconized, that's not even a word. Emollient. Emollienticized. Is that a word? Bye.